say a little prayer for you. Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you. Never fall in love again. I never knew love before. Then came you. Then came you. Yeah. They call it deja vu. Could you be the dream that I once knew?
Portrait of a legend, Dionne Warwick.
People who've been in the business for 40, 50 years, who know the meaning of show business, who kind of nurtured it and brought it to its peak and are still sustaining. Those are legends to me. I've got so much to do.
Welcome to Portrait of a Legend. I'm James Darren. Join me as we take a look at the career of a woman who's been called the greatest influence on black vocal style since Ray Charles. A giant on both the pop and the soul charts, the woman who knows the way to San Jose, Dionne Warwick.
Waiting for New Orleans, Kentucky bluebird, fly away and take a message to my soul, message to my soul. Ask him to start for home today. When you find him, please let him know. Or poor. I'm gonna send it 3 by 3, 3 for the Hebrew children, 2 for Paul and Silas, 1 for the Lizzie. Baby was born, he was born in the
What I remember about it is my family. Wonderful, fond memories of singing probably the best music that was ever conceived, which is gospel. That was a complete family situation, so you can't think of anything but warm and pleasant things.
Dionne Warwick grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, where her mother managed a nationally known gospel group called the Drinkard Singers. While attending Hart College of Music, Dionne formed her own gospel group, the Gospel Airs, with her sister and cousin. But her first love wasn't performing. It was teaching.
Absolutely. I still intend to do that. Eventually, I'll get to do that. I studied long and hard to become an educator, and I feel that I do have an awful lot of experience as well as educational values to give somebody else.
Teaching was Dionne's first love, but it had to take a back seat to her singing career. To earn tuition money, she'd sing on demo records in New York's Tin Pan Alley, and one of those demos unexpectedly earned Dionne Warwick a recording contract.
I did a demonstration record called It's Love That Really Counts, and it was written for the Shirelles. The demo, of course, reached Scepter Records with the idea, of course, that the Shirelles would record the song. And Mrs. Greenberg didn't want the song, she wanted the voice. And that was my introduction to Florence Greenberg.
Dionne was signed to Florence Greenberg's Scepter Records, and she was matched with a pair of young songwriters named Burt Bacharach and Hal David. They became a magical team, and the magic began almost immediately with Don't Make Me Over.
Yep, that was the first record, first time out the box. And that was 1962. Top 20 record. sing chopped liver for the first time out. It was really quite an experience, I'll tell you that.
Don't make me over now that I do anything for you. Don't make me over now that you know how I adore you. Don't think all the things I say, the things I do. Just love me with all my faults, the way that I love you. I'm begging you, don't make me over now that I can't make it without you. Don't make me over. I wouldn't change one thing about you. Just take me inside your arms and hold me tight and always be by my side. If I am wrong or right, I'm begging you, don't make me over.
In the 60s, the team of Warwick, Bacharach, and David had the Midas touch, and almost every song they recorded went gold. After Don't Make Me Over came Anyone Who Had a Heart, and then Walk On By.
Walk On By. The late and wonderful Mary the K is really responsible for that record. He ran a contest. He was with the radio station, I think it's News now in New York, WINS, and he was head honcho. Mary ran a contest with both sides of that record. And I remember the other side vividly because that's the side I really wanted as a hit. It was called Any Old Time of the Day. So he was playing both sides and having his audience listen in and make phone calls as to which side they felt was the hit side. And the rest is history. It's Walk On By.
If you see me walking down the street and I start to cry, be kind with me, do I? A little bit louder now. All right, make believe that
The hits continued to mount. You'll Never Get to Heaven, Reach Out for Me, Message to Michael, Alfie, Say a Little Prayer.
I'm combing my hair now and wonder what dress you wear now. And say a little prayer for you. Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. All of us together, together. That's all it must be to live with faith. Would only mean heartbreak for me. Oh, me, I run for the bus dear. While riding up in the bus dear, I say a little prayer for you. And work does take time, and all through my life it takes time. I say a little prayer for you. Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. All of you together, together. That's how it must be to live with faith. Would only mean heartbreak.
This very talented trio of Bacharach, David, and Warwick developed a special creative interaction. And Dionne remembers she was more than just a pretty voice when it came to the songs.
What's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live?
No, I was part of the family. We were known in the music industry as the triangle marriage that worked. And it was a wonderful 15-year relationship where I regarded those two people as much a part of my family as my mother and father were. And I felt at that period of time that I was as important to them as they were to me. They wrote specifically with Dionne Warwick in mind. And I was the interpreter of wonderful music and incredible lyrics that for a long period of time everybody also agreed with.
And if life belongs only to the strong, Alfie, what were you then? On and on, golden rule. And sure as I believe there's a heaven above,
At the height of her career in the late 60s, Dionne Warwick performed at the Newport Jazz Festival. She was named Woman of the Year by Harvard's Hasty Pudding Club, and she won her first Grammy for the song, Do You Know the Way to San Jose?
We write the words and the notes, but the artist gives them life. I've been very fortunate to have a number of my compositions brought to life by our next Grammy Award winner. Now, when she's going to record one of your songs, it really makes you feel like you bet on a sure thing. She has a voice and a style and a warmth that gives any song a very special meaning. Here's the winner of the Best Contemporary Pop Female Vocal Award, singing one of my favorites. Do You Know the Way to San Jose? Miss Dionne Warwick. Sing your little heart out, honey.
Do you know the way to San Jose? I've been away so long, I may go wrong and lose my way. Do you know the way to San Jose? I'm going back to find some peace of mind in San Jose. LA's a great big freeway. Could I reach down and buy a car? In a week, maybe two, they'll make you a song. Big 32 years, how quick they pass. And all the stars that never pass are parking cars and pumping gas. You can really breathe in San. Tell me now, what do you get when you fall in love? A guy with a pinch of extra bubble, and that's what you get for all your trouble. Never fall in love again. No, no, I'll never fall in love again. Those chains that bind you, and that is why I'm here to remind you. What do you get when you fall in love? You only get lies and pain and sorrow. So for at least until tomorrow, I'll never fall in love again. No, no, I'll never fall in love again. Don't you know that I'll never fall in love again?
By the late 60s, Dionne Warwick had it all. A seemingly endless string of hits, a unique place in the world of music, and a wonderful marriage. Then she added a single letter to her last name, and her whole world fell apart.
Oh, there was this lady named Linda Goodman, who is a fabulous astrologist. That she is, absolutely. I don't think she's such a great numerologist. And I know she's not going to agree with me at all, but she advised me to put the E on my name for vibratory reasons, that it would add vibrations that I was missing, and I did, and all hell broke loose.
All of a sudden, Dionne's marriage fell apart, she stopped hitting the charts, and the team of Bacharach and David abruptly split up.
I found out just like the general public found out, which hurt me tremendously, and it still hurts, because I did feel that I should have meant, if I didn't, a little more to them than that. I picked up a paper one day and read that Bacharach and David were splitting.
Well, finally, Dionne took that extra letter, E, off of Warwick.
As soon as it came off, I had a #1 record with the Spinners.
Now that I have found you, tell me how did I live without you? I don't know where to sleep. You're all I need to satisfy me. I'm so darn proud of you. I've got to sing about you. Hey, you ought to know you made me grow by touching my head. You know I love you. This can't you. I'm never to love you.
Then Came You became Dionne Warwick's first #1 song, but it would still be a long time before her career was back up to par. In fact, just before she signed with Clive Davis, she was on the verge of leaving the music business.
It was almost at the point that I was ready to take my credentials and go to Hart College and get a job as a teacher. I really had gotten to the point where I was very despondent, and I got to the point where I was doubting myself and doubting my own talent, which is something I've never done in my life before.
Dionne signed with Arista Records, and her contract asked for no guarantee at all per album, which is very unusual for an artist of her stature. Still, Dionne hadn't had a hit in 5 years. She started her career all over again with a song called I'll Never Love This Way Again, a song produced by her old opening act, Barry Manilow.
I was really kind of hesitant about that situation because Barry was very successful at producing himself and writing for himself. But I didn't know if he was capable of taking that hat off, just negating himself from being an artist and becoming sole producer of. And we talked at length for quite a few months prior to going into the studio. I should say he talked an awful lot because I sat and just kept nodding my head. He was going a mile a minute, and he convinced me. He literally said, I can do it. Well, he did it. he really did it. He gave me my very first platinum album, and it was wonderful.
Yesterday, I won't turn my head in sorrow. If you should go away, I'll stand here and remember just how good it's been. And I know I'll never love this way again. Oh, I'll never love this way again. So I keep holding on.
More than once in her career, Dionne Warwick has watched her fortunes ebb and flow. Yet each time she's managed to bounce back. We asked her how, and she told us the answer goes back to her surviving the British invasion in the early 60s.
When the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Animals and the Searchers and the Seekers and all those wonderful English groups were making great leaps and bounds of progress here in the United States, I was still the only one that had a sound that was so totally different from anything that was ever heard before, which I think is really the reason for the beginning of the success anyway.
They call it deja vu. Could you be the dream that I once knew? Is it you? Deja vu. Could you be the dream that might come true? Shining through. I keep remembering me. I keep remembering you. Deja vu. This is divine. I've been waiting all my life, filling time, looking for you. The nights were more than you could know. To me now, we don't have to dream of love, we know how.
Only a handful of performers have been completely unique and innovative in their style of singing. There's Frank Sinatra, Elvis, the Beatles, and almost certainly Dionne Warwick. She's left a mark on pop music that will last a long time, and that's a sure sign of a legend. I'm James Darren. Join me next week for another Portrait of a Legend.